Hi friends! Today's video is continuing in a series where I talk about different romance tropes and recommend books for that trope. Today we're going to be talking about friends to lovers. So the friends to lovers trope in romance is exactly what it sounds like. It follows a couple that start off as friends and eventually become lovers. There are a few different versions of this. There are some where they've been friends for a long time, perhaps even since childhood, and have been pining after one another, or one of them has been pining after the other, and then they eventually develop a romance. Or there's a version where they met as adults, became friends, and then that develops into something more. People sometimes have strong feelings about which of these two types they prefer, but I'm gonna give you some recommendations that kind of span all of those. So if what you want from a friends to lovers book is that long-term angsty feeling of somebody pining for somebody else or them secretly pining for each other but never knowing how to talk about it, I have a couple of recommendations for you. One is Crazy Stupid Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams. This is my favorite book in the Bromance Book Club series, and it's super cute because it's got a cinnamon roll hero, which I love. We've talked about cinnamon roll heroes before. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up above. But we have kind of a sweet cinnamon roll hero, and we've got a long-term friends to lovers. So the hero in this book is the best friend of the girl. He's been there for her for years. He's been her best friend, and he is totally in love with her, but terrified of losing her friendship and won't make a move. And this is about them finally giving their relationship a shot. Kind of a different take on this that I liked was American Sweethearts by Adriana Herrera. This one is interesting because the couple were friends as children and have had kind of an on-again, off-again, no strings attached relationship where they've kind of dated each other or they've been sleeping together, but they've always been friends. And now through the course of this book, they're maybe finally ready to give a relationship a real shot. I will say this one is very steamy, and I think both the hero and heroine are bisexual, which is cool. I love to see it. Yeah, if you're looking for like a steamier version of friends to lovers where there's a long history between the two of them that's a little bit complicated, this might be a good one to try. My final recommendation for you, if you want this like childhood friends to lovers with lots of angst, is Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. Kennedy Ryan writes the most hard-hitting, heartbreaking romances with incredible characters. They're also quite steamy, and this one is fantastic. The hero and heroine were childhood best friends, and they were each other's first crushes. They even had their very first kiss together, but shortly after that they were separated and lived in different places for many years, and now they're finally coming back together for the first time, but it's messy and it's complicated. I thought this was fantastic and another great pick if you're looking for this long-term angsty friends to lovers. But maybe that's not quite your brand of friends to lovers. Maybe you want something where they become friends as adults, or it's not as angsty. Don't worry, I've got you covered too. My first recommendation for you is Like Lovers Do by Tracy Livesay. This book is fantastic because it actually has a few of my favorite romance tropes. It has a friends to lovers romance, it has fake dating, and it has the only one bed trope. So I might have to throw this into my fake dating video as well, but I absolutely love this. The two characters are best friends and roommates. They met as adults, and they are both attracted to each other, but convinced that a relationship would never work because they want different things. However, when he gets invited to a trip with friends, including his ex-girlfriend, he asks her to go along with him as his fake girlfriend. And while there, things heat up. I loved this. It was a 5-star read for me. Cannot recommend it enough. They have a fantastic friendship. They have a great romance. Like, this is everything you would ever want. Another book that has both friends to lovers and fake dating that I love is a historical romance. This is My Fake Rake by Eva Lee. I'm gonna tell you, this entire series is fantastic. They are all historical romances loosely inspired by 80s teen movies, which is really fun. And this one has a hero makeover. He's like this nerdy, introverted guy. They're both total nerds and friends, but the heroine wants to catch the eye of someone else and convinces him to learn how to look and act like a rake and be her fake paramour so that she can get the guy she wants. But of course, Maybe she already has him. I love this. It's super sweet. It's another one with a cinnamon roll hero, which I am a fan of. And if you like nerdy romance, this is a good pick. So definitely check this one out if you want a good friends to lovers. And I like that they're intellectual friends. They have similar interests and their friendship is really well established before there's any romantic attraction between them. My next recommendation is a great one for those of you who want something without any steamy scenes on page. You might try The Amish Teacher's Dilemma by Patricia Davids. This is a very, very sweet, wonderful romance. And while I'm not a big reader of Amish romances, I do think Patricia Davids is great because she writes fantastic characters and really good relationship arcs. This one is about a woman who is a spinster who takes a teaching job in a community where among her students are the younger siblings of the local blacksmith who has started caring for his younger siblings since their parents passed away. They kind of become friends and get to know each other and end up falling for each other, and it's great. It's really lovely, really sweet. I very much enjoyed this. For those of you who like fantasy or paranormal romance and don't mind a very, very long slow burn where the story is about a lot of other things other than just the romance, I have a recommendation for you. This is Written and Read by Anne Bishop. It's the first book in the Other series. There's 5 books in the series and I really love them. I think my favorite book in the series is actually the first one. This is like cozy paranormal romance, I would say. Super duper slow burn, definitely a friends to lovers. There's a lot of complications to the relationship, but I just love it. I loved watching the dynamic between our 2 main characters as they slowly become friends and perhaps eventually one day, maybe something more. And I will say check content warnings on this if you need them because there is some kind of more intense content based on the setup of it, but I'm a fan. Another one that I want to talk about here that is probably also going to go in my like marriage of convenience video, but I really love it and it's definitely a friends to lovers, is Radiance by Grace Draven. This is so good. I feel like everybody who reads this pretty much ends up loving it. It's really, really fantastic. It's a slow burn romance. There's a political marriage of convenience between the 2 main characters who are actually different species and find each other actually repulsive at the beginning, but they're nice people. They're getting married for political reasons, and so they decide to make the best of it and become friends, and slowly, slowly that develops into something more. I just love this so much. It's such a fantastic book and definitely one that should be on your radar for friends to lovers. Okay, my final recommendation for friends to lovers is kind of an interesting one because it also bridges different things at once. It has sort of fake dating, not really, but like kind of sort of fake dating, but it's really more of a friends to lovers, except that one of the people doesn't know that the other person is their longtime friend. This is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. I loved this. This was one of my favorite romances of last year, and I thought it was a whole lot of fun. What's interesting about this is that the 2 main characters had become friends on an anonymous fanfiction website, and so when they start getting to know each other in real life, he figures out who she is, but she doesn't know who he is right away. So that creates kind of an interesting dynamic, but it is definitely a friends to lovers. It's great. Those are my picks for a great friends to lovers romance. So if you're looking for that friendship first, moving into love, hopefully you found something new to try in this video. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about. And for your question of the day, of course, tell me what is one of your favorite friends to lovers romances. Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.